Hello, dear students. Welcome in today's class. In yesterday's class, we did the third level lesson one, the first part of the lesson, that how the protagonist, Charlie, reached the third level. We also had a discussion on some of the associations or the images or the things that were associated with the third level. How did he reach the third level? And what did he do there? Now, let us continue the lesson and understand it thoroughly. Yes, we did till here the point that there is nothing nice about jail even in 1894. So this was when he got or he could interact with the person who was sitting at the ticket counter. So the last few lines, I turned away and got out fast. Why did he leave? Because the currency that he used was the new type of currency, and the counter was the money. Of course, the money was old style bills, half again as big as the money we use nowadays, and different looking. I turned away and got out fast. There's nothing about jail even in 1894. There's a little bit mockery about jail, that jail in all times will not be a good option. So I left. And that was that. I left the same way I came. Now, from here, we'll continue. I suppose next day during lunch hour, I drew $300 out of the bank, nearly all we had, and bought old style currency. So there's something which is going in his mind continuously, and here he decides that he'll change his old new type of money into the old currency, old style currency. That really worried my psychiatrist friend. You can buy old money at almost any coin dealers, but you have to pay a premium. My $300 bought less than 200 in old style bills. But I didn't care. Eggs were 13 cents a dozen in 1894. But I have never again found the corridor that leads to the third level at Grand Central Station, although I have tried often enough. Though he got his money, whatever he had, changed into the old style money. But when he went for searching the third level, he could not find it. I have tried enough, often enough. Louisa was pretty worried when I told her all this and didn't want me to look for the third level anymore. And after a while, I stopped. I went back to my stamps. So when he searched the third level again now after this experience, he didn't find any sign of third level on the Grand Central Station. But now we both were looking. And he resumed back to his stamp collecting hobby. But now we both were looking every weekend, because now we have proof that the third level is still there. My friend Sam Wiener disappeared, and in amidst of all this, the psychiatrist friend Sam had disappeared. Not only disappeared, but some more evidences are hereby related to the story we are going to read. Nobody knew where, but I sort of suspected because Sam was a city boy, and I used to tell him about Galesburg. I went to school there, and he always said he liked the sound of the place, and that's where he is all right in 1894. Now, what justifies this that Sam has gone? Though he himself was telling him that it was a dream come imaginative situation, like, or dream fulfillment or dream wish fulfillment, like that sort of thing. Because one night, fussing with my stamp collection, I found, well, do you know what a first day cover is? We have discussed this first day cover in our yesterday's class. When a new stamp is issued, stamp collectors buy some and use them to mail envelopes to themselves on the very first day of the sale. And the postmark proves the date. The envelope is called a first day cover. They are never opened. You just put blank paper in the envelope. That night, among my oldest first day covers, I found one that shouldn't have been there. Dear students, you need to underline what is a first day cover. right? And the exact description, what is being made here, we need to learn the answer. Resuming back to the point, the envelope is called a first day cover. They are never opened. You just put blank paper in the envelope. That night, among my oldest first day covers, I found one shouldn't have been there. But there it was. It was there because someone had mailed it to my grandfather at his home in Galesburg. That's what the address on the envelope said, and it had been there since July 18, 1894. The postmark showed that. Yet I didn't remember it all at all. The stamp was a 610 dull brown with a picture of President Garfield. Naturally, when the envelope came to Grandad in the mail, it went right into his collection and stayed there. Till I took it out and opened it. The paper inside wasn't blank, it read. It read Galesburg, Illinois, July 18, 1894. Charlie, I got to wishing that you were right. Then I got to believing you were right. And Charlie, it's true. I found the third level. I have been here 2 weeks, and right now, down the street at the Dailies, someone is playing a piano, and there they are. Let me make it little enlarged so that we can read. Charlie, I got to wishing that you were right. Then I got to believing you were right. Now you were right about what he was right about the third level. And Charlie, it's true. I found the third level. I have been here 2 weeks, and right now down the street at the Daily, someone is playing a piano. This letter tells that Sam has reached third level and he has written to Charlie. But because he's in 1894, so they, as if they have through time machine entered into the time, say for 100 years back. So they are all out on the front porch singing, seeing Nellie home. And I'm invited over for lemonade. Come on back, Charlie and Louisa. Keep looking till you find the third level. Yeah, it is worth it, believe me. So the note is signed Sam. At the stamp and coin store I go to, I found out that Sam bought $800 worth of old style currency. That ought to set him up in the nice little hill. Now, the friend who was considering him as mad and when he was exchanging currency has himself started believing, searching third level, and has reached third level. That ought to set him up in a nice little feed and grain business. He always said that what he really wished he could do, and he certainly can't go back to his old business. So farming sort of business, and he always wanted to go, though he was a psychiatrist in present day context, not in Galesburg, Illinois in 1894, his old business. Why Sam was my psychiatrist. Now, he has revealed this thing that who is this Sam who has left and has reached third level. Dear students, let us continue the question answers of this lesson, the third level. Okay. How did Charlie reach the third level of Grand Central? How was it different from the other levels? Do you think the third level was a medium of escape for Charlie? Why? What made Charlie believe that the third level, or sorry, he was actually standing at the third level? What kind of people did Charlie see at the third level? How did Charlie make his description of the third level very realistic? What is being inferred from Sam's letter to Charlie? Next, the modern world is full of insecurity, fear, war, worry, and stress. In one word, we can combine insecurities and anxieties of the world. What are the ways in which we attempt to overcome them? Now, let us move on to the first question and the answer for this question. How did Charlie reach the third level of Grand Central? One night, Charlie worked till late at the office. Then he was in a hurry to get back to his apartment, so he decided to take the subway from Grand Central. He went down the steps and came to the first level. Then he walked down to the second level from where the suburban trains left. He ducked into an arched doorway that headed to the subway. Then he got lost. Knowing that he was going wrong, he continued to walk downward. The tunnel turned a sharp left, and then, taking a short flight of stairs, he came out on the third level at the Grand Central Station. Here he saw many unusual things. Dim gaslights flickered, and men wore derby hats and four-button suits. It was rather a strange world of sideburns, beards, and fancy mustaches. So the first question, how did Charlie reach the third level of Grand Central? How it was different from the other levels? Question number two, dear students, if you read, do you think the third level was a medium of escape for Charlie? Why? The answer for this is yes. The third level was a medium of escape for Charlie. Of course, definitely it was a medium of escape. The fears, anxieties, and insecurities of the modern world are taking a toll on man's mind. Psychologically, he is not satisfied with himself. He feels helpless and frustrated and seeks temporary refuge, respite from life's harsh realities. Or whatever challenges he has to face in real life, he wants to run away from them. Charlie too was unable to cope up with his fast pacing, and stressful life. So, his flight to the third level was undoubtedly a medium of escape for him. It is nothing but a creation of Charlie's own mind, own imagination. He wanted to escape from the world's insecurity, fear, and worries and stresses. So he sought an exit, a medium to get away into the world of dreams and fancies where he could find some respite. Now, let us move on to the third question. What made Charlie believe that he was actually standing at the third level? Dear students, apart from all the things, let me remind you of the newspaper, The World, that mentioned the date 11th June 1894 was there with the newspaper boy. So let us read the other details along with this and understand this question, that what made Charlie believe that he was on the third level or at the third level. One night, Charlie worked late at the office. He was in a hurry to get to his apartment, so he decided to take the subway from Grand Central. He ducked into an arched doorway and then he got lost. He walked down the steps of the second level, turned left, and kept on walking. Despite knowing that he was moving in the wrong or towards the wrong corridor, he kept on walking. He came out on the third level at the Grand Central Station. This was different, old, and romantic world. So he was convinced that he was actually standing at the third level. There were fewer ticket windows there, or you can say there were fewer ticket windows which were made of wood and were old looking. They were of old patterned or old fashioned style or old way of windows which were made of using wood. There were open flame gaslights. He saw people with beards, sideburns, and fancy mustaches. Then he caught a glimpse of an old locomotive and also saw an 1894 issue of the World's newspaper. The World newspaper. Perhaps Charlie is under pressure, or you can even write in past tense, perhaps Charlie was under pressure to escape from the harsh world of realities and he wanted to shun those anxieties and would like to escape to the peaceful world of 1894. So this way, dear students, he found himself on the third level. Let us move on to the fourth question. Again, this is a description, but of the people at the third level. What kind of people did Charlie see at the third level? In the beginning of the lesson, some images have been shared with you to discuss that what type of people, the type of clothes, the type of hairstyles, the type of sleeves that their sweaters and shirts had, and the shoes they wore, all has been discussed. Charlie has discussed the minute details that he saw and the people how they dressed themselves. Having worked late at night, Charlie decided to take a train back home. So he came to Grand Central, and from the second level, he got lost while ducking into an arched doorway and found himself inside a tunnel. The tunnel took him to the another light of stairs, or a flight of stairs it should be, and he found himself on the third level. As compared to the second level, the third level had smaller rooms, fewer ticket windows, and train gates. Everyone there was dressed in 1890 something or 1890s something. Charlie came across men and women wearing 19th century dresses. Men sported fancy mustaches, beards and sideburns, tiny lapels, four-button suits, derby hats, and pocket gold watches seemed to be in fashion, in vogue. Women were wearing fancy cut sleeves, long skirts, and high button shoes. Charlie was confused to see people sporting in old fashioned clothes and hairstyles at the third level. So, this way, Charlie has described the people and their clothes. Right? The fifth question is, how does Charlie make his description of the third level very realistic? The details of the people, the details of the things, the details, the minute details, and vivid comparison of the third level with the second level of the Grand Central Station makes it very lively and realistic. So let's go on to describe this answer. To make his description of to make this description or his description of the third level very realistic, Charlie describes its minute details, vividly comparing it to the second level of Grand Central Station. He says that rooms here were smaller, there were fewer ticket windows and train gates, and the information booth was wooden and old looking. He also gives detailed description about the people he saw at the third level and their dresses, the way they dressed themselves. He said the people wore 19th century dresses. Many men had beards, sideburns, and fancy mustaches. He also purchased or he buys tickets to Galesburg, Illinois, thus making the readers believe that he was actually at the third level. Right? Now, moving on to the sixth question, which is indeed an important question of the lesson. What is being inferred from Sam's letter to Charlie? Two, three things that this letter informs and can be in few points can be inferred. That is, Sam himself wanted that escapism, or he wanted to escape. And the second thing that the letter reveals, that he was happy there and was enjoying the festivities and many other things that belong to the world of 1894. So what can be inferred from Sam's letter that he wrote to Charlie? Sam's letter to Charlie is dated 18th July 1894. It is written from Galesburg, Illinois, in response to Charlie's claim of having visited the third level. Sam, who is equally insecure, wishes the entire episode is true, as he too believes in the existence of the third level. There are some inferences made by him in the letter. The introductory part of the letter confirms that Charlie's belief in the existence of the third level was absolutely justifiable, justifying. It also suggests that those who find the third level can travel across to Galesburg and enjoy the festivities, songs, music, and peaceful world of 1890s as Sam himself was enjoying. So the author uses Sam's letter as a unique combination of real as well as fantasy world. Now the seventh question, dear students, the seventh question, competency based question, that what are the ways in which we attempt to overcome our insecurities, fear, worries of war, and other types of stresses. So very important thing which has been shared in the lesson is to indulge in hobbies. One such hobby is being shared or has been shared by Charlie, that was of philately, the stamp collection, stamp collecting hobby. Now, what are the question is, the modern world is full of insecurity, fear, war, worry, and stress, and what are the ways in which we attempt to overcome them? Now, we can overcome the anxieties and insecurities bred by our inevitable existence in the modern world by getting involved in some practical, beneficial, fertile, fruitful activities, cultivating hobbies, spending time with family and friends, going on trips and excursions, pursuing meditation and exercises help us live a balanced and a healthy life. Reading good books is equivalent to having good friends with great insight. Insightful learning can take place by keeping good books in our company. They not only enrich us with the vast store of knowledge, but also help us to learn from other people's experiences and stay rooted to some basic qualities of humanity and ethics. Joining hobby classes or gymming or gym attending social events like birthdays, weddings, going for outdoor games, interacting meaningfully. I repeat, interacting meaningfully through social networking sites and writing diaries or articles and penning down one's thoughts can also help us relieve our worries and stay focused and disciplined in life. And who can deny the significance of music in our life? So, some simple activities like listening to music, playing with pets, an occasional dinner out, watching cinema, or playing or going to places like parks, etc., can go a long way in helping us get rid of our stress, boredom, and insecurities. Though maybe due to pandemic, we may not be able to do all these activities, but yet few may be covered up to remove the anxieties or to eliminate the stresses and the anxieties of modern man. And this is all about the third level, a way to escape from the real world of anxieties and insecurities. I hope you have understood these questions, dear students. Kindly do them in your notebook. Thank you so much. God bless you all.